Yeah, throat clear. Gonna get rid of that. What's up, everybody? Episode 313, unannounced, coming at you out of the gate on a Wednesday morning here in the United States and a Wednesday evening in Ireland, where my guest today is A. Lozano Alwine. Is that correct?
Nailed
I want to
it.
make sure. No, I want to make sure that I got it right.
Yeah, that's my government name.
Government name, but your actual name is Allison Allwine. We work together on World Pet Games. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you for having me. This was a delightfully unexpected invite.
Did you just go Irish accent for a second?
I don't know what I went, but I'm still just happy to be here.
There was definitely like a few minutes where I was like, or seconds. I was like, did she just go Irish and then go back? Do you bust into the Irish thing when you're there? I mean, have you picked it up?
No. And their accent is, can I curse on here?
No one ever says fuck or anything like that. We'll get in trouble.
Oh shit, fuck. I should be careful.
Yeah.
No, their accent is so fucking hard. And it's so varied from region to region. So just when you're like, oh, that's what an Irish person sounds like you think it's like just Liam Neeson, like bananas. And it's not. It's like all over the map. And I have a hard time latching onto it. Like British accents I can get all right, but this one I can't even attempt to do it. It's such a mess. It's such a mess for me.
So what are you doing there? Like you don't live there, correct?
Yeah, no, I'm just fucking around.
You just you had some time. You're like, I'm gonna go.
Yeah, so I had meant to go last year, but something happened. It's weird.
Right.
So that got derailed, and it's been like a long dream to come over here.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically, I want to be here for St. Patty's Day, but take what I can get. So anyway, last year's plans got canceled and I still had the money saved to come, and the country opened up to a level that was on par with the rules that we have in Los Angeles, specifically in California. I know it's a little different in other parts of the state, but to be able to go out and go to pubs and whatever. And they're like, it's really strict over here. I'm like, it's a little bit more lax actually than Cali. So we're good.
Right. So yeah. Pubs, I mean, like, okay, so where are you right now in Ireland?
I am in Belfast in Northern Ireland. So technically the UK, but I was in the Republic of Ireland as of 2 days ago.
Have you learned how to make a Molotov cocktail yet?
Are we talking about throwing things through windows?
Yeah. Isn't Ireland huge with that? Isn't that like the place where that goes down? Or it went down back in the 70s, of course, which is where all my references come from.
80s and 90s even, I think, too. I don't know. I have been instructed. So the Republic speaks more freely about what they call the troubles or the conflict. I've been told it's not something that you really speak about here because it's such a tender wound, I guess. So I have not really asked it. They actually have, you know how they have like hop on, hop off bus tours or like a day tour to go see blah, blah, blah. They have ones here that are specifically, it's called like the conflict tour.
Right.
And it takes you through like the IRA, like civil warriors, I guess. Maybe.
Oh, wow. That'd be pretty cool.
I mean, yeah, but it sounds like so intense. And I was like, I'm here on vacation. I don't know.
Right. Well, that's so funny. You know? Well, prior to us going on the air, when we were talking, I was like, I said, and just in passing, I just find this interesting. We were talking, I said, oh, sorry, I'm not as prepared as I was yesterday because my whole timeline is blowing up with all of the school shooting thing from Michigan, where I'm from. And you said, you were like, well, it just kind of blipped across the thing because they're like, yay, America. And I think that that's interesting because it's just like in a reverse way, whereas Northern Ireland and Ireland are all about all of these tender spots. We're like, yay, Ireland, like in the opposite way. Just like each of our regions has their thing. I remember I did a show in Sri Lanka performing with Russell Peters, and I was so excited to do this joke I had, whatever it was, and I don't remember, but it was like something religious, and it was like some hack play on the many virgins when you die thing. So the guy, I always say, is there anything I can't talk about anytime I perform any show prior to doing it? Is there anything I shouldn't say?
That's smart. I will say not everybody does that.
Well, you gotta not put yourself in a position, and also it's not cool to ambush anybody, and you don't want to be in front of, I don't know, several thousand people and piss them off, you know, it's not a good idea. Your odds to survive will decrease significantly. But I was like,
Yeah.
and I was like, well, he was like, yeah, don't do any jokes about religion. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Because I have this one joke. And he's like, well, yeah, we were just in civil war and thousands of people died. And it's really a horrible subject. So if you think your joke is going to fix all that, cool. And I'm like, not doing the joke. And it's like, ah. But that's the thing. Like, you're in entertainment. You're a funny person. I see your posts. They make me laugh. We're entertainers. It's like we're supposed to be called in to a situation to fix and try to heal people in times of darkness, etc. But in 2021 and in 2020, there's so much fucking darkness, and we're not allowed to say anything because we can't upset anybody.
It feels almost worse. Like what you're talking about reminds me of after 9/11 happened, right? And America was utterly fucking devastated, rightly so.
Sure.
And I remember that first episode of Saturday Night Live coming back after the towers fell.
Right.
And just the like tension. Well, I can't imagine what it must have been like to be in Studio 8 or whatever. But the tension, just watching it, where they were doing the opening bit, and it's like you wanted it so badly because you needed that relief. But it's like, is it too soon? And are we okay to do this? And is it gonna be like, what can we make fun? What's funny anymore?
Right.
What's allowed? And I feel like, especially after all of the, I mean, I can't even name it. So many things of 2020 and 2021. It's like, as much as we desperately need comic relief, we're still such a powder keg in a lot of ways. It's like, you got to read the room, but also you got to let comedy breathe and live, because that's what it does, even when it's controversial. You know, I think of older comics. I think it was George Carlin maybe is coming to mind, where it's like, but I shouldn't have to apologize, you know, like,
sure.
You gotta, it's such a fine line and a slippery slope and every other cliche thing. It's like, how far can I dip my toe in it, you know?
Yeah. And I mean, it's so weird because you have such extreme levels of differences in grief processing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You have like, I personally, and it's out of no disrespect, I can't help but laugh uncomfortably. Like, I think I was talking yesterday and I was just like, oh my God, did you hear about that? They like, this is the story I told because I saw it online, and it's horrifying, this story. And it's short, but I laughed because I was just like, and it was like, I was so uncomfortable. I was just like, that's, and it's, it was a story about how this woman somehow got her car into a ditch, and she called a tow truck to get her out. Tow truck driver comes, notices that there are 3 dead children in the back of her car, duct taped and whatever. And I was just like, and I was telling the story, and I read the story, and again, mouth open, slack jaw, like horrified. But I read it and I was explaining it to someone else. I'm like, oh my God, can you imagine being that tow truck driver and be like, I'll be right back, you know? And it's like, that's. I'm not making fun of the deceased or how tragic that is, but it's just like,
but like,
it's how we process it.
Yeah.
And everything is so media driven now. And since it's so horrifying because text never reflects tone.
No.
Ever.
No. I always tell my girlfriends, if you're about to blow up an argument with your significant other, I'm going to tell you right now, get on the phone, because whatever you're about to type is not going to come out the way you think it is.
100%. And it's just like, my previous manager, he began every critique of me, which he was lethal with. He was just like, remember, text does not reflect tone. And I was just like, okay. And at the end, I was like,
my ass handed to me right now.
Yeah, but afterwards, I was really thankful. I was thankful because it was like, yeah, because otherwise I would have jumped off a cliff or whatever. And,
right.
I mean, it's like, it's definitely, comedy and entertainment has changed so much. Everything. And that's what we were talking about. You and I both worked together on World Pet Games, the very successful show that happened on, I mean, like 8 o'clock, prime time, Thanksgiving. As a person working in the business, what else? I mean, it's like, that's the Super Bowl. It's like everyone's home, everyone's watching TV.
And it's a family-friendly show. So it's literally cast the widest net possible as far as viewership. Yeah.
Right. And me watching it, it's just like I'm a pretty dark comedy writer, and it's like I'm not, but that's just it's not like I'm trying to. I'm careful, everybody. This is dark. It's like that's where my brain goes. My
Take all the
brain.
sharp objects out of your house because you're gonna get fucked up. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Christine Starr, listener of the show, said she loved the show. She watched it with her son and thought it was very fun. And that's awesome, and that's what it's about.
Right.
But me, like, I mean, I'd worked with the gentleman I worked with at MGM before a bunch of times, and he brought me in, and I was like, and he's like, be as corny as you need. He goes, if you think you're being too corny, be cornier. He goes, every pun, every word play, every silly thing you can think of, over the top, grown humor. I want grown humor. I'm like, oh my God, I can do that all day.
Dad jokes. You're like,
Dad jokes. And that's all Jay and I did. We were just like, I remember we were.
I remember listening to you guys crack these, and I was like, oh.
Yeah. And
I hear them talk independent of what they're writing, and they're way funnier than this.
100%. But it's just like, what's going to go over on Fox as a mother watches the show with her son better, what's that fucking skunk about to do? Fuck that guy. Maybe you should go rape some more cats.
Alternative one. We should get to have an 11 p.m. cable version.
That's actually right there. You're like, it's so funny. We should totally pitch that show. It would be like
the Cinemax late night. Yeah.
Animals After Dark.
Animals Naked and Afraid. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so funny. And it's just animals walking around with comedians doing voiceover for them.
But in night vision, so their eyes are all weird and glassy. Yeah.
Night vision. Nothing says success on television like 3 hours of night vision. That's so cool. So you
this summer on Fox.
This summer on Fox, but like, you do comedic actoring, correct?
Actoring, yes.
But you wouldn't say I've seen you've got many slashes, and you're actor, singer, producer, writer, creator.
Yeah, I'm a multi-hyphenate.
Multi-hyphenate. That's funny. I've always heard it as a slasher.
Well, that's for the uneducated. I have 2 degrees, so.
Oh no, and that's fantastic. I mean,
I'm so proud on the money spent.
And you went to a very prestigious school as well, if I remember correctly. Wasn't it a performing arts school?
Yeah, so I went to AMDA, which is short for American Musical and Dramatic Academy.
Okay.
We turn on a lot of Broadway stars, and the LA campus has many success stories of students pursuing film, television as well. So yeah, I mean, I loved my college experience. It was very expensive, but I think any college experience is just as much, if not more, at least if you're in it for the arts, is just as much, if not more, about the connections that you make and the networking that is involved in your 2 to 4 years on campus.
Right.
As it is about the actual skill set that you're acquiring. And I can definitely credit AMDA with that. Yeah.
That's amazing. It's cool. I mean, like, I don't know. It's just so, I mean, ultimately, like the thing that whenever I got an email yesterday, all right, I'm going to read it because I'm not going to say the person's name, but I'm going to share.
You're like, I won't say their name, but I will put it on this screen here. Links below.
Yeah. No, it's just like, I get these all the time. And I'm curious as whether you get something similar to this. It's like, hey buddy, I wanted to reach out.
Is it offering you to be a sugar daddy or a sugar baby?
No, but I'm super open. Anyone
okay, we're in different categories then, but I'm willing to hear this out.
Great. Why? What are yours? How many requests do you get for people wanting to see your feet? Isn't that a thing?
It is a thing. I don't get that request, which is probably beneficial because I have dancers' feet and you actually don't want to see them. But I currently have 2 sugar baby offers in my DMs.
Right. And you know the scam behind that, correct?
I don't. It's just a nice ego boost on days when you're like, I'm kind of feeling bloated. And you're like, well, someone loves me.
Absolutely.
Someone would take me as I am. What is the scam?
The scam is great. It's highly successful. It's definitely a sugar baby scam. Basically what it is, it's someone who reaches out to you and they begin by saying, oh, I want to take care of you. Yeah. I want to take care of you. I want to send you money. And they do send you money. And however, the check bounces. and then they have access to your account and they take your money.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
See,
nuts.
here's what you need to do. Ladies, I'm going to put you on the up and up. When they say they're going to send you money and they ask for an account number, you give them that Sally Mae account number.
Nice. See, that's why you're on the show. All right, so here's the email.
Just life hacks.
Yeah, that's great. I have a buddy. He's getting started in entertainment, and he wants to do stand up. He's green, but I think he's got a really cool, unique voice. I think he could use some guidance from a pro. Would it be okay if I gave him your information so you guys can have coffee? Well, here's my thoughts. I'm at a point in my relationship, in my entertainment career, where I would never wish this on anyone. And it's like, I can't say that to a new person, and I can't be like, all right. Yeah, but then you're an asshole. And it's like, all I say to anybody whenever they move here is welcome to hell. That's all I say. And it's just like,
you ever been to the Hollywood Walk of Fame? You know how the stars glitter? Broken dreams. Yeah. They crush it up and they put it in the stars. And if you're lucky, your name goes on one of them.
It's crazy. And it's just like, I find, okay, I would say, okay, as an example, here's a show example that I did yesterday. Okay, so I was asked to do a show in San Diego at a private supper club. So I was like, all right, cool, I'll do it.
Ooh.
And so they're like, all right, well, we need all your tax information, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, cool. So I get there. I got to drive 5 hours to San Diego during rush hour. So I have to leave at like 3:30 to get there at 8. And then I do the show. They didn't tell the people in the private charity ballroom that they were getting stand-up. They served them a 7-course meal for a charity event. And these are older people who are very wealthy, who obviously can afford I want to say it was like $2,000 a plate for this 7-course charitable. So this was 20.
You're like, I followed a clown who did balloon animals and a minstrel who only sang American folk songs.
that would have been easier. Because I'm dealing with 22 senior citizens or later in their year people, later in their life people who are wine drunk as fuck, full, and they're ready to leave because it's 8, and all of a sudden it's like, and now comedy. And it's like, that was my introduction. She goes, well, our final surprise for the evening is stand-up comedy. I'm like, final surprise? So I was like,
they're like, we can't take any more surprises. We're tired.
Yeah. So it was literally like the Abbott Costello thing where they were like, they start doing a bit and it's not working and they just toss it and go into who's on first. So I was like, I started doing my act and I was like, fuck this. I'm like, I'm doing stand-up at the Last Supper because it was like the way the table was shaped. And then I started doing Last Supper bits and I started talking about, I'm like, thank God we're on the 34th floor so I can leap to my death if that joke doesn't. And like, I had to do 35 minutes of crowd work to people who didn't want to have comedy done. And it went over well, thank God. But that's because I've been entertaining for like 35 years and I know what I'm fucking doing. But I'm not going to sit there and tell a kid, hey, buddy, listen, you're probably going to live in your car. You're probably going to not have any
cigar
money.
In your mouth.
Yeah.
Hey, buddy.
You're probably not gonna succeed. But you know what? Welcome. It's probably better than whatever it is you were thinking of successfully doing in your life. So do you get requests like that? You're successful? Do you have people reaching out to you in the same capacity or similar?
Well, no, occasionally I will have, so I'm born in LA, but raised in Fresno and always back and forth between the two cities when I was younger, and then obviously permanently placed there as an adult. And so every now and again, there'll be someone from my hometown who will be like, oh, my kid is, in high school. And so we're looking at colleges and they're going to try and figure out what they want to do. So it's not so much like, hey, can you set my buddy up for a good career? It's kind of like they just want to pick your brain more than like what advice, but I'm also not a harsh and painfully aggressively blunt, but I'm just like, look, if you think you'll be happy doing literally anything else, then go do anything else. And the reason I have so many hyphenates is because I have gone in and out of phases where I'm like, that is fulfilling for me, and then maybe it isn't. And so that's how I ended up in film television. I started as at 4 singing and performing, and then did musical theater, and then got really invested in orchestra. So I played the violin for a long time, and then I got tired of that after I kind of peaked on that. And then I went back to drama, and then I went and played soccer and softball, and then I got back into musical theater, and then I got into film television, and then I started producing stuff because I was working in marketing. And then as I produced more and more shorts and sketches, and then I went into comedy TV writing for a while. I took courses on that, and then I kind of went all over the map, and then I've always come back to different things. But it's like, unless you like that instability and uncertainty, and there's like a little bit of it that kind of makes you a little crazy, you're like, yeah, I like it, and you don't always know where the next paycheck's coming from. That's the other thing. Like, if you value stability, fucking do anything else in the world.
Anything.
Find a job that's 9 to 5 that gives you maybe halfway decent benefits. You'll never get dental and vision, but anything, and just do that, and then let that fund whatever joy you find in life on the weekends and after 5 p.m. and do that.
Right.
If you want to be rejected constantly, if you want to stay in a place that you feel completely defeated by, because you know that it's a numbers game more than it is how talented you are, who you know, and you want to barely get by and not know where your next paycheck's coming from and have a day job that you hate, then by all means, please come here. Please come do it.
Go all in.
And it's, people are like, you're being really grim. I'm like, I'm being very honest, because would you rather me paint that picture for you and have you hear it all as it is? Like, I can tell you every horror story. I have worked every job known to man. Every job known to man.
Name 3.
Only ones I've enjoyed have been the creative ones.
Name 3 jobs you've worked. Name 3 jobs you've worked.
I worked at I've been a bartender server.
Okay.
I have worked in marketing.
Okay.
Actually, I really like the marketing job, so we'll take that one out.
No, you're good at talking. I can see that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a chatterbox. And I worked at a law firm.
Ooh, what'd you do at a law firm?
Receptionist and HR.
Amazing. I worked at a law firm forever.
What?
I worked at a law firm forever. I loved it. I love law. I think it's
Wait, what did you do?
I started off as a clerk, court filings, and then I quit and started my own process serving business and private investigation business. So I did.
Ooh.
But that was like in Michigan many lives ago, and I love law. I think it's fun, and I find it super interesting. But so that was great. And I also was a receptionist at that law firm during lunch. I answered the phones.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because
Who said I can make an Excel spreadsheet.
Yeah.
I can roll phone calls.
I'm that good. Yeah, it's a weird, fucked up business. So
it is, but like that's like why performers or anybody in the creative industry, it's like we're like a little bit sick. It's sort of sadomasochistic,
There's no little bit about it. There's no. It's
we are massively, massively insane.
I mean, I've watched people stare at their phones editing for 8 hours to put up a post, and I get both sides. I get the, oh my God, good for you. That's great. Way to focus. That's impressive. That's absolutely what you're supposed to do. And sure. I've also, and then there's, what the fuck? Go outside, get some fresh air. But
do you think people are too obsessed with that? Like having a perfect post? I have a friend that's like obsessed with perfect posts, and I'm like, who fucking cares? How many people are seeing it? Like, you're not an influencer. Calm down.
I mean, listen, I don't know that. I mean, it's hard to call like once you call yourself an influencer, aren't you almost immediately no longer an influencer? I mean, it's just like, it's like Madonna wearing a Madonna concert shirt. It's like, it's just too much, it's
too meta.
It's too weird. And it's like, I've worked with influencers, as have you. And it's just like, they're idiots. And it's like, yeah, they're really good at this. They're great at this. They're so good at phone. There are people who are fantastic at phone who suck in human. You know what I mean? It's just like,
yeah.
I worked on this show once. This show was called, I don't know if it was a streaming show. It was a phone network. It was like Tap That Awesome app or something. It was
First of all, I hate that.
Yeah. But it was the and I worked on it with my buddy Hunter March, who is he's the host of the television show. It's on Mondays, whatever it is. Something Scoop.
That should be the name. It's
Yeah,
on Mondays.
it's called something Juicy Scoop, I think. No, that's not it. That's someone's podcast.
Oh,
Fuck. Whatever. No.
Second only to Moist Scoop, really.
Yeah. But it's I remember it was like, this was like when there was an app called Musical, which I think became Vine, which
Musical.ly.
And
there's another one called Smule.
Okay. And
yeah,
they would bring in these kids who would have 25 million followers, and all they were doing was lip syncing a music video with their hair. And I was like, that 14 seconds of that deserves 20, like millions and millions of people watching. And I'm trying, but that doesn't work. And it's just like, people are like, you're born when you're born. You adjust to what you adjust. And it's just like, you try to, like, I know how important social media is, but I also don't give a fuck because I want it to be organic and real, which is why there's 4 people listening. And that's, I mean, at the moment, but I love it because
appreciate you, 4 people.
but you know what, Allison, I genuinely do. Those are 3 now.
Yeah.
But I those are people who are taking time out of their day, who have gotten here accidentally or who have gotten here because they specifically wanted to and they stayed. Those 3 people are more important to me than, posting 28 million likes on my murder shooting video. You know what I mean? It's just like, okay, what's the fucking point of that? Did you see the George Clooney article recently, him talking about his motorcycle accident?
No, I'm telling you, look, I'm going to acknowledge that I am willfully, blissfully ignorant of so much going on in the US right now. I'm like, I am on vacation.
Right.
And maybe that's a little privileged. I'm going to own that as well. If y'all could get away from it for a minute, you would. Because honestly, people could be like, oh no, the whole United States is on fire. Like the whole thing. I'd be like, oh.
Yeah, well, I'm in Ireland.
Well, I'll see y'all January 6th then.
Yeah.
If there's anything left, I don't know. Grab my teddy bear.
If you find the Google box on your computer, look up the George Clooney article. It's fantastic. He is so smart, and he talks about he was in a very, very severe motorcycle accident several years ago, and it was
well, then I have no excuse because I was not in Ireland several years ago.
That's all right. It was just like, there's so much news and information. It's absolutely impossible to hang on to stories.
Yeah.
So he talks about, he was in this motorcycle accident, and it was like 60 miles an hour, smashed into a car. He slid on like some freeway. He literally thought, he was like, his words, he's like, I was certain I was moments from death. And he goes, and the weirdest part about it was, I'm looking around and none of these people are helping me. They're all filming me. And I realized at that point in time, I didn't matter like I thought I mattered. I realized I was just entertainment. And I was like, that's such a crazy thought, to be like, you are an entertainer. But did you forget that for a second? I mean, yeah, you're devastatingly handsome and you're incredibly successful. But yeah, dude, you're an entertainer. That's why people love you. They imagine being married to you or fucking you or being your best friend or buying a tequila company with you. But the fact that he's dying, he's literally like broken. His whole body's broken. And he's on this freeway and people are like, George Clooney just had a fucking accident. Isn't that cool? And he's like, people are filming him.
Weird. Like, there comes a point in celebrity when you go from being a human to strictly being a commodity.
Yes.
And
don't I know it?
I mean, how do you get through the days? And it's so sad to me because that's a moment when like, that's a human person. Like, we've lost so much of our humanity. And I think it's because screens, right? Where you'll see trolls and it's like, they'll write whatever the fuck they write from their mom's basement, never having known the loving touch of another soul ever, before. And they're just like, you're fucking fat and stupid and ugly and you make all women fat. And you're like, who the fuck are you? Yeah. And they can say this because of the anonymity, right? It's like, there's no face to it. It's almost like, well, then come say that to my face. They would never, because that's a human. And now you have to suffer the consequences, the human consequences of the things that you say and do. And it's like, these screens, as much as they connect us, I mean, look, I'm in Ireland right now and you're
Right.
in California. Like, it's remarkable. But
Right.
at the same time, there is a disconnect between, like, so many people can't even like have a conversation. I'm out here traveling solo.
Great.
So
That's impressive.
It's kind of boring. I'm not going to lie. Like, I show up places and people are like, well, she's probably waiting for someone or doesn't want to be bothered. I'm like, I very much would like to be bothered. I'm bored. Like, come talk to me. But you'll sit down and start having conversations, and Europeans are a little different than Americans, I think, but the instinct to converse just seems to be a little stunted. And I see that more and more because of the technology. And so then to hear that people are watching George Clooney die, you can be the person that saved George Clooney's life, but you're more like, I'm going to sell this to TMZ. I'm like, how self-serving. And also there's a disconnect.
It's a like, human life.
Right. And
it's just so weird. It's just so weird, but it is what it is.
Yeah. I mean, what can you do?
It's not changing. All right, my friend. No. You're phenomenal. Are you ready for your rapid fire quiz?
You know what? Let's do it. Let me wet my whistle.
Right. Okay. Do some whistle wetting. While you whistle wet, that's right. It's not required. I do want to say on a serious note before we go into this unrelated. My heart goes out to all my friends in Michigan who are connected or related to this situation. I don't have words. I don't have anything that I could possibly say that could ever fix the situation. I'm just, my condolences. My heart is broken for strangers. And it's because it's so close to where I'm from. So I know you're going through hell. Just keep going. Respectfully. All right, and now comedy. Yeah, there we go. All right, are you ready for your quiz?
Let's do it.
All right, here we go. Number 1. Where is the Fresno Art Museum located?
Okay, that is, can I say it's next to Sam's Deli? Because it's next to Sam's Deli. It's on like Dakota, I want to say.
That is correct. We would have also accepted Fresno. You are 1 for 1.
Okay.
All right. How many variations of this joke, if any, have you heard?
1. Oh, you haven't done it yet. Okay.
Yes, that would have been premature ejaculation. That's right. Yeah, you can groan all you want. This guy got a TV credit. One of the jokes that they didn't take was, this is my impression of a gigolo porcupine. I'm out here poking all these hoes. There you go. So, yeah, of course, which is why it was cut. Just kidding. Anyways, how many times have you heard this? Allison, all wine. Are you sure it's all wine and not some of it's tequila?
0.
Okay. Damn it. But that is correct.
The family joke is all wine, like all wine, no beer.
Oh, see, I could have said beer, but I figured people. All right. You played a soccer mom in a short. What was the character's name?
Soccer mom.
That is also correct. You were 3 for 3. Why did you choose ASCAP over BMI for your music publishing?
They had more songwriters that I like that were signed up with them as opposed to BMI. Although I heard BMI offers better workshops.
I'm with BMI, just letting you know.
Okay, well.
But you are correct. Fine. You are correct.
We'll fucking fight later in these streets. Hold my hoops. Yeah.
January, whenever you get back, I'll be at the airport, brass knuckles.
Great. I'll kick your ass, and you give me a ride back to my place. So I save on the Uber.
I'm very easy to defeat. What age did you begin entertainment professionally?
4.
That is correct. Actor, singer, producer. Which do you prefer?
Singer.
Correct. Name any band from Ireland.
U2.
That is correct.
Also Flogging Molly.
Also correct.
Also the Dubliners. I'm hearing a lot of them out here.
Wouldn't it be the Young Dubliners? Or are there the Dubliners and the Young Dubliners?
Maybe there's both. Maybe they had one when the one guy was with them, and then after he died. than they. What's his name? Kelly.
I don't remember. I just know that I've got 2 songs on my iTunes from the Young Doubleters, and they're badass. Let's see. The violin that you play, is it a Stradivarius?
No.
Okay.
I have 2. One is from Amazon, and that's the one that I take places, and then I have a vintage one.
Nice.
And I actually have 3. I have a custom-made one, but that was handed down to the family.
Do you have natural perfect pitch, or was it trained or learned? I'm just assuming that you have pitch as a musician and a singer.
I do not have perfect pitch. Charlie Puth does. I do not. I have very good muscle memory, though. So very few people actually, you have to like be tested for perfect pitch. I have a very good ear, but I have really, really good muscle memory. So like if I learn a song in a certain key, and example, I did a concert, a cabaret thing with a friend, and we were singing a song, and there are 2 versions of the song. It's from Waitress. There's the version from the show, and then there's the version that Sarah Bareilles released on her own as a singer-songwriter of all of the songs from the show. And certain songs are in different keys, even though it's the same song. And I didn't know that he was doing one version and not another. So he was like a third down, and I was like singing, and I'm like, and I was singing it perfectly in the key that I knew it in for the version that I knew. And I was like, this is not right. I'm off. He's like, we're down a third. I was like, we are down a third. Let me find it.
Amazing. So, that is correct.
Thank you.
Which percent of your phone battery are you? If you were a percentile of your phone battery, would you be 1% or 100%?
1.
Great. Give yourself a cool nickname right now.
Owl.
Nice. That is correct. How would you destroy Elf on a Shelf in a creatively violent way?
Oh, okay. Well, you're not supposed to touch them. So that would be the first thing. Magic, gone. Never gets back to Santa. Watch the children cry.
Okay. Then
I think you have to put a rope on each appendage. And one definitely needs to be attached to the train that goes around the bottom of the tree. He's getting yanked in one direction. Then I think the other rope.
You're going Narcos season 3 death on the poor kid. Poor thing. Nice work.
Then the other one goes to something else, and it just rips him right apart.
Oh, that's a horrifying death. What's next for you? That's my last question. What's next?
Edinburgh.
Edinburgh? Oh, really?
I'm going up to Edinburgh. Yeah. That's Edinburgh. Amazing. And then creatively, I don't know. I thought about starting a podcast when I get home because I got a lot of stuff to say. As you mentioned earlier, I can chitty chat, but I would have to streamline my consciousness. So we'll see. I don't know. And I have some TV shows that I have created that I am doing a development meeting for because I would really like to pitch and sell them. Atta girl. Well, that's amazing. Well, fantastic. Thank you so much for being on the show. I'm going to do the thing that I always do right now. This is my thing. This is how we do it. And I'm going to ask you,